Welcome once again to Liberate Africa. I'm your host, Amos Onukebagbe. Today I have a special guest with me. You all know him, Dr. Nelson Aluya. Dr. Nelson is our special guest. He's been here before. So welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me once again, Amos. I look forward to a great discussion today, and let's take it on the road.
Our first conversation is going to be Pan-Africanism. You see what's going on around, as in, it's getting momentum. People are beginning to realize that the exploitation of the Europeans and the West have done to Africa for a long time, people are getting the awakening that it's time to put a stop to it. So what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I have written and talked about this a couple of times, and I say this: there's an awakening and a reckoning in the Black consciousness. There's a new beat in the Black DNA. What is new now? We're no longer asking for political freedom.
We're taking it
for economic liberation.
Okay.
It is the money that controls everything, and we realize the money that controls everything. So once you have the money, you can buy your own press, you can buy your own military, you can detect what you want and how you want it.
But what do you think about the sustainability of this movement? Because if you really, to be honest, we're very divided.
Well, I mean, look, the division is everywhere. Europe is not that united in itself. If they were, they wouldn't be fighting all the series of wars they fight every day. Look at what's happening there. You understand? And how many wars do you see among fellow African countries? And if you look deep into those wars, we know hands.
Instigators, yeah.
You understand? So we really don't fight ourselves like that. And in spite of all the colonization, subjugation, and subservience that were taking place, and all the mind-boggling activities that are taking place in Africa, we really don't fight ourselves. We don't do that. It's not in our nature to do that.
Okay, there's one other issue that I have that people are talking about: the indoctrination part. For example, before colonialism, Africa had a thriving economy. You know, they have the Benin Kingdom, they have the empires. We have our traditions, rich culture. But when people, most of the people who fought independence, they all went abroad. They came back with the ideas. You cannot just come to a country like Nigeria and start implementing white man's idea. We can coexist and learn from each other and try and change some of the things that are actually barbaric. British, they have their barbaric culture before civilization, where they had you could not go with the Bible and all of that. So the indoctrination, as in, they come back with the whole idea to want to change the system, because I don't think that's right.
Now, you see, one of the things we need to understand, and I've said it before, it is okay to be civilized. You don't have to be westernized. Westernization and civilization are two different things.
But we
forget.
But if you look at it now, even the leaders, they're like, this is what they do in America. This is what they do in England. Why can't you say, this is how we do it as Africans? That's one thing we're losing.
Well, because I'll tell you why. Because most of the leaders in Africa, unfortunately, still have a West
colonial measure. Yeah.
You understand? In as much as the people have moved, the leadership and the leadership structure of Nigeria has not evolved. The people has evolved. The leadership structure has not evolved.
That's the reason they take money abroad. They take the money and
You basically answered it. And I'll tell you this. In as much as they say the things they say, look, when the colonial masters were living, they left structures on the ground. And those structures were built for them, by them, with them in mind.
For their interest.
And for their interest. Not for you. They left structures that were meant for them, that suit them. And those structures, including a system of government, which is democracy. And truly, do we truly understand what democracy is? And even democracy in their country evolved to a place where they got to. So we haven't gotten there, and we don't understand the democracy as it ought to.
That's the thing. That's the one thing that I was going to come to, because I was going to talk about how can we decolonize Africa. But the question I want to ask before I forget is that, do you think democracy has worked for Africa? Because if you look at it, Nigeria, for example, since we had democracy, when we had the military during the time of, Gowon, those people that started, Nigeria was actually working. But the so-called democracy has not actually worked in Nigeria.
Right. So, and I'll tell you this. Again, talking about the system.
Mm-hmm.
So, something that's coming up around the world now, if you look at, is authoritarian government. If you look at the Middle East, you see how evolved and developed they are. Dubai, Saudi Arabia, all these people, right? They're so developed.
Yes.
None of these guys were voted into power.
They
cannot be voted.
That's what I'm saying. They not.
But guess what?
That's still there.
They're developing their countries now.
Mm-hmm.
But those countries have always existed, right? They never did that because the rulers they had then didn't have the mindset that they have. And a lot of them most likely were still subservient and corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they now realize, listen, in order for me to stay in power and be at peace in power, I need to provide for my people. So we haven't gotten there yet. Hopefully we will. But the sad part is we have a foreign style of government that's embedded into our traditional system. So hopefully somebody, somewhere, somehow will create a system that will align the people's recognition and ability to contribute to the government,
mm-hmm.
but at the same time taking into power what our traditional rulers will come. You understand? I think I gave a name one time, for that. So hopefully it will come.
Okay, now let's go to the elephant in the bag, the religion. Religion is a big deal because if you look at it, okay, I know that religion did not start in Europe or America. It actually started in Africa. We'll talk about Christianity and all of that.
Right.
But right now, the one they practice in Africa is actually worse than the government. You know what I mean? As in pastors flying private jet, and this little man is being, apart from being oppressed, I don't want to say oppressed, it's brainwashed to think that his reward is in heaven.
Right.
So, but how do we, the colonial master didn't do this to us.
Well, again, it's just like I said, the systems and structures that were lay behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Democracy, our clothing and whatever, that we came to accept and imbibe. We didn't understand them well. So is the religion. And unfortunately, it's the kind of religion we abuse everything. And people abuse certain things for their own selfish, self-contained issues.
That's true, but what I'm saying in essence is that when you talk about spirituality and religion, as in, I'm a Christian. I believe in the gospel of Jesus Christ. I believe that I can go on my knees and ask God forever. I don't need a pastor. But our people in Nigeria, what they do is that they make the pastor their masters. The pastors and the bishop are taking this place of God in their life.
Surprise.
But that's what. How can we find this coach?
And I'll tell you why. Religion has been weaponized. They weaponize it at a point where you impoverish the people. By the time you weaponize it to impoverish the people who are impoverished consistently seek help. And when they can't find help, they turn to God.
That's true.
And the God they turn to is through who? The pastor. And who benefits at the end? The pastor. Because guess what? Pay your tithe, they'll still come.
No matter how poor you are, you must still pay your
But
tithe.
guess what? By the time you have a job, the job that demands your time when you make money,
Mm-hmm.
less and less people go to church. I mean, look, when Nigerians come to the United States, they go to church 5 times a week in Nigeria, or even in Ghana or in Cameroon. But by the time they come to America, where they see the dollar per hour, how many of them still go to church? So that's it.
I know it's an economic issue, but
Again, it's the economics of it.
so my last question would be, do you think that let's use Nigeria. You know, I always use Nigeria as an example because if you look at the politics in Nigeria right now, the politics of Nigeria, the president, who I believe is not the most, not even close to anything that's qualified, is the way he's picking it right now. You know, social media, they were afraid of social media, but what they do now is that they buy all the influencers, give them little sweets, and guess what? They start singing the praises of the government, and things are not getting better. And they are preparing for the next election already. They are arresting people who are speaking up. What is the solution to all of it? Do you think that people are clamoring for the military? Do you think that's the right thing to do?
No, you see, I alluded to something earlier when we talk about, you know, authoritarian government. Most military, my dad was in the military. I grew up in the military system all of my life. You know, the authoritarian government is as good and progressive as the last one. You understand? What does that mean? It means if you have a government where people who are in power are authoritarian and they mean well for the country and they want to develop and build and structure the whole place, they build stuff for other. But guess what? Once that authoritarian government leaves, then what comes in? You understand?
Yeah.
It cannot be continued. So the best thing is to create structures, not, you understand, and institutions that can propel itself in of progress, not authoritarian system. You understand? Or not authoritarian government.
The
system.
Like the Chinese government, right?
Well, again,
because that is working for them.
it's a system, not a government. But you know they made their president for life, right?
No, well, apart from if you're president for life, everything is okay. That's fine.
Well, but
that's fine.
You have to create, whoever that authoritarian government or leader comes, has to create a structure that would self-propagate progress. You understand? Not one that if you move forward today and somebody another buffoon comes in, or somebody who's ardently corrupt, and the whole structure just breaks down. And the biggest concern now is that people need to become responsible and get involved in their own affairs. You understand? If you look around, even in Nigeria, how many people know who their local government chairman is or the councillor in their wards? Well, you'll be shocked, except for those who are in the news when they know who the governor is.
Even the youth, they don't even
That's
care.
the issue.
But
So, you know, it gets to a point where, again, that knowledge and that information has to be put out there. You know, civic duty and civic responsibility, civic education. You understand? It has to be en masse, where we educate the people that your right, your vote, your thoughts matter in advancing the cause of your future.
Thank you, Dr. Aluya, for coming to Liberate Africa.
Pleasure.
Your voice is very important, and hopefully we're going to do this again and again. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching, and everybody needs to do their part. Go on your social media, say whatever you want to say, and support your government, support the people that are making changes. Thank you.